You worked your whole life to reach this magical number that you thought would be enough to retire, and then 2022 comes and the market bottom falls out. Do you still have enough money to retire? Should you consider spending less? Should you take Social Security sooner? What if you change the investment portfolio? What if you go back to work for 1 or 2 years? How do all of those decisions impact your probability of success in retirement? All right, the hypothetical couple in today's case study, they're both 60 years old. This is their Social Security benefit individually and combined at age 67, their full retirement age. And they had about $1.2 million before the market bottom fell out. Maybe we're too aggressive leading into retirement. But either way, they have a little more than $900,000 today, and they want to know, do I have enough? Can I still retire? How much should I spend in retirement? These are the discussions that we have every single day with clients here at Oak Harvest Financial Group, so I want to share this information with you so you can make better decisions with your retirement. If this is the first time you've watched any of our videos, I want to introduce you to a term that we use to label the spending phases throughout retirement. So we have the go-go years, which is when we're younger and healthy and active and can travel and do more things with the family. So we have a baseline of $70,000, and that $70,000 is planned on continuing to increase. That's what we call a baseline level of spending that is our basic needs. But then in the go-go years, we have this extra $20,000 for the first 10 years of retirement stacked on top so we can travel more, so we can do the things that we like. After the go-go years, we enter the slow-go years where we're slowing down, we're not spending as much, we don't necessarily need this discretionary money on top of our baseline spending. But the baseline spending will have increased, meaning the withdrawals that we're taking out will become more and more because of inflation. And then the no-go years are where you're not really going anywhere except maybe to the doctor and out to the mailbox to get your mail. One more thing before we start here. We're big believers in a dynamic spending plan. So just because we model this going into retirement or the first year, it doesn't mean we're going to stick to this necessarily. We may be able to pull out more than this, especially if we have a good year or two in the market. And we also may need to tighten the belt. But our retirement success process is based on the belief that you should enjoy the money that you've accumulated throughout the course of your life, but you also should stay connected to a plan so you know where you are currently, but also you respect the amount of time that you still have in front of you over the course of the rest of your life. In this particular case, they had 1.2, they're down to 900,000. They want to spend $90,000 for the first 10 years of retirement. And at 60, the question becomes, can I get to 67 when Social Security turns on and I'm going to get $60,000 of that? Not to mention, at 67, there's only a few more go-go years left here. So the spending will reduce from age 70 and beyond in this hypothetical case study. So how does this all come together? Okay, now I'm going to hit this magic button here, and it's going to model 1,000 different simulations. Good market returns, bad market returns, the sequence of those returns changing over 1,000 different simulations, and we're going to see what the probability of success is based on the parameters that we've input so far. 73%. So that means that 730 out of 1,000 simulations, this family passes away with money at the end. So as I go through the sequence of different choices here, I'm going to come back every time and reset it to the base case. So the base case is both spouses take Social Security at full retirement age 67, totaling $60,000 of lifetime income from Social Security, as well as the $70,000 of baseline spending and $20,000 annually for the first 10 years of retirement in those go-go years. This scenario, we've reduced the amount of years for go-go spending from 10 down to 5, but we've increased the amount we spend during that first 5 years from $20,000 to $30,000. So the overall probability of success has gone from 73 to 80%. So in this simulation, they're spending $150,000 in the first 5 years above their baseline spending needs, as opposed to the first one where it was $200,000, but it was stretched out over 10 years. And the reason there is because when we take a little bit less out of the portfolio, it has a compounding effect over multiple years. So the market's down, but you still want to retire, but you don't want to pull any money out of your accounts because the market is down. So you get the idea, hey, no problem, we'll just turn Social Security on earlier at age 62. This way we keep more money in the portfolio and start living off Social Security sooner than we had originally planned. Well, let's see how that works out. Okay, 64% probably didn't have the impact that you were hoping for. So why did that not work? Well, there's a 30% reduction in Social Security income if you take it at age 62 as opposed to age 67. So we were originally working with $60,000 of lifetime income from Social Security. 30% less is an $18,000 reduction. $18,000 per year over a 30-year period from 60 to 90 is $540,000. So that's more than $500,000 that you will not have in guaranteed lifetime income, but instead you'll have to be withdrawing from the portfolio later in life, and that causes the portfolio to decline fairly rapidly in those later years. Now, I know you don't want to do this, but we're going to look at what happens if you retire 1 year later. Okay, increases from the base case of 73% probability to 82%. So there's a combination of factors that takes place if you work 1 or 2 more years. First, you'll have more income and more savings. Second, you'll take less money out of your portfolio. And third, your money doesn't have to last as long. A lot of times, if someone comes to see us after going through a situation like this, they tend to be a little bit shell-shocked. And one of the first questions they'll ask is, well, should I get more defensive? Should I be more conservative in my portfolio? Because obviously in the base case here, if they lost over $200,000 right before retirement, 20%, they were probably a bit too aggressive the year prior to retirement. So now they may want to get more conservative. So let's see what happens if the portfolio gets more conservative now. So this is a very interesting simulation because it's not just about the probability number. Look at the trajectory of account balances here. So on the y-axis, we have it's labeled by account value. And on the x-axis here, it is out by year. So what we see is by getting conservative in the portfolio after the market crash and after the portfolio has gone down in value, we don't give ourselves the opportunity to rebound. So it's oftentimes what people do is they get defensive, the emotions take control, we get scared, and then we say, hey, I want to protect myself. It's natural human behavior, but a lot of times it's the absolute wrong thing to do, and this illustrates it quite well because even though in a lot of these simulations it comes back up, in many of these simulations, when it starts going down, the red, it stays down. And what happens is we make ourselves more vulnerable to what we call sequence of returns risk. So the proper time to make adjustments isn't after the fact, it's before things happen. And now we don't have a crystal ball necessarily, but we need to, this is why we need to be connected to a financial plan. So when we model these types of situations and we like to show you, hey, this is a possible outcome if you don't do this because this is where you currently are. Now, if we would have went through a proper risk analysis, identifying the amount of money that you want to spend, the go-go years, the slow-go years, the baseline, understanding how the portfolio is constructed, the impact of some of these scenarios based on different decisions that we could make. We could have made some adjustments, got that portfolio a bit more conservative prior to retirement, and at the same time identified a comfortable level of spending. Even though this is a static snapshot, it gives us a good idea of a starting place. When we do this year after year after year, we can adjust, we can make changes based on how the market performs, what you're actually spending, what medical costs are, if your goals or needs or life may change. But here is, I've reversed it back to 1.2 million with the portfolio being conservative, all the baseline information staying the same, just to show what would have happened if we would have made this decision prior to the market crashing. So this person was at 99% probability of success, but because the market downturn and having an inappropriate allocation based on their spending level, longevity, and everything we've went through, Social Security, they went from 99% to 73%. I don't want to see this happen to you. So be aware, please, of how all of these different decisions interact with one another and how they impact your security in retirement.